Paper Note Playbook. I am your host, Zachary. Lloyd, and with me is our co-host,
Mr.
LDC.
LDC, Lamar Dante Cobb
Lamar
himself,
Dante
here
Cobb
in the
himself.
flesh.
Anyway, welcome to the Playbook, where business strategy meets modern marketing. And we are going to dive deep into it today. We're really excited and thrilled.
Yeah.
So,
Even if Zach doesn't sound like it.
I promise I am. I have done a lot of traveling. It's not been a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm just learning how to grow my capacity.
A little tirade.
A little bit, but you know, hey.
Yeah. I heard one terrible joke years and years ago.
Oh, yeah.
A guy said, yeah. He's like, I'm retired. And I was like, you are? And he's like, yeah, I was tired yesterday and I'm tired again today.
Well, you know what I heard a man of God say once? He said, you can sleep when you're dead. It's like, oh, okay, thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Love you.
All right. So what are we getting into?
All right, we are going to continue on with our long list of things in marketing. So, new marketing strategy starts here with segment 2. The very first point I have in my notes is community is greater than audience. A big shift is that people don't just want to follow brands, they want to belong to communities. Perfect example of this is Liquid Death has practically turned canned water company into a movement by building kind of a cult-like following. Action play is this, is you could launch a community for your best customers in your business or a podcast. Could be a Facebook group, Discord, Slack community, LinkedIn, or even school. Use it to share early access resources and behind-the-scenes updates as well, which there are a ton of platforms out there that have this availability to build communities. I don't think I mentioned WhatsApp. I think Patreon's another one, all sorts of stuff, but we're definitely going to be working on doing that here as well because it's huge. I mean, because if you look at, Liquid Death, what they've done, I mean, they've grown their brand drastically through things like that. And then at the same token, what's interesting is that not only that, but you look at school communities. School communities are huge right now. Big trending thing of building a community, teaching people, getting them on the hook. And then eventually they want to jump on board as a customer.
I think so going back to where this is all coming from, it's building a community, not just pushing products.
Exactly.
So one thing that came to my mind when you start naming all these different companies, like they have the ability, using WhatsApp or LinkedIn or, those things to build your communities, you can have access to the product, but that doesn't mean that you build the community.
Yeah.
Since our kind of what we do, everything touches everything, as we said in the last episode, church world, business world, all of it meets. And we see that a lot in the church world. We see it in the business world too. Just because you have access to build community doesn't mean you actually do it online or in person. Yep. And so it's actually, how are you leveraging LinkedIn? How are you leveraging the things that you use as a company to actually build the community? I think that's getting to the bottom of that for this episode would be a big help for a lot of us. And like you said, Liquid Death, like how many people, like Maverick City, they're a Christian. They've kind of broken up a little bit now. There's some that are still around, and new faces coming in, but they caught a lot of backlash because of them drinking Liquid Death water. But yet it was something that they were willing to go through a little bit because it's water. And it was something about that, like you said, built a cult-like community. I mean, you think of Monster, like Liquid Death is one thing, but Monster's on a whole other level, Monster and Red Bull. And you think of how they leveraged not just building a product brand, but how they built whole communities around it that are in, Red Bull went from being an energy drink to being a whole movement of people doing some of the most outrageous things, doing a backflip in a monster truck.
Yeah.
Jumping out of an airplane with no parachute.
Did you see the guy that did I think it was a rocket skydive? Did you see that one?
I'm
trying to remember.
He went up, the one that went up on there's a guy, he went up in the balloon, is a weather balloon, and he goes up outside the atmosphere and then dives back in. Like he passed out at one point. So like, but that was all built around a brand that built a community.
Well, and those guys dominated the market for years.
Yeah.
Because like even when we were at Rama, you know, Bang was just now being introduced. Rockstar was trying to make a little bit more of a comeback, but they weren't really doing too good. But it literally was everybody you saw there was Monster. They either had a Monster, they had a Red Bull, or they had a NOS energy drink. And those were the main groups.
Yeah.
But with back to Red Bull and Monster is the years that they did dominate the market, you know, and they still kind of do to a degree. They have a community. It's like people are, oh no, I'm more of a Monster guy, or I'm more of a Red Bull guy.
Yeah.
You know, oh why? Well, flavor, and I like how you get, you know, those really, really tall ones that they used to have with the screw-on lid. That was a big deal.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. If it's going off of flavor, Red Bull is never at the top of my list.
Really?
I do not like the taste of it. It tastes like old cough syrup.
Really?
To me, yes. No matter what, I think there's one flavor that I got that I actually liked.
It kind of gives me a Jolly Rancher.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
what
like
tainted. You've been eating 5-year-old Halloween candy.
No,
but
I like Red Bull.
But it is very interesting, like, because to me, I like the taste of Monsters and Bangs and C4s way more than I do Red Bulls.
Yeah.
But yet Red Bull has so Red Bull and Monster have their niche kind of following in the extreme world, you know, and then Rockstar came in on some of that as well. And then you have, what was the other one? Giants that came in, and they came in with the UFC crowd, the Ultimate Fighting group, because one of their fighters, I remember Chuck, I'm a little bit older than Zach, and so Chuck Liddell was one of the guys, and that was one that they pushed. Now you see Monsters and things like that more represented, but Giants was one that they built a whole community in the fighting mixed martial arts world. So that would be something. So Zach, since you said it's something that we want to work on here, and that I think, you know, as a business, I think most businesses want to figure this out. What's something that we can do to begin building that community, not just pushing product?
I would say put content out there, of course, which what we're doing, what a lot of people are coming to us wanting our services for, is to help them put content out there so that they're able to tell their stories and build communities with people. I was talking to one particular individual the other day, and what they did is they sit there and they want to start telling stories of things behind the scenes of with different customers and things like that, and just kind of show the other side of it, the more of the community building side with it as well. But what people have done as well is they've built just a list, email list, also names, phone numbers, types things, to where for like Slack and WhatsApp, they're at least blasting out a text to them, you know, constantly, continually trying to build community, trying to say, hey, we're here for you. You know, here are our services, but not only for our services. This is kind of behind the scenes of what we believe in and who we believe in. You know, for a perfect example, I was telling a potential customer this the other day. So we went to a business conference called The Vault. We shared that in the last episode, right?
Yep.
Okay. The way we even got there in the first place was 2 years ago. I started watching his podcast. Then I started following some of his communities for behind the scenes stuff. Guess what that did? That eventually got me to believe not only in the guy's product and what he does, but I believe in him. So since I believe in him and his results, then what did it end up me doing? Spending several $1,000s to go to a conference and to get poured into. Was the ROI worth it? Yes. But what did it do? It built a community. His podcast did, and his, you know, little groups did, and email blasting. Oh, do you know this? Do you know that? We're having this. We're doing this. Follow us on social media to see behind the scenes. Because 90% of those people, I wouldn't say really go there just because of the business side. I think they go there because they believe in him and his community of people that follow Valuetainment. For what? To build a community of people that are together. And then there's the business side of it.
Yeah. So you touched on a couple of things there. So one of them was storytelling. You said that earlier in your comment of, you know, how well are you telling a story? And is it something that the potential customer or a community member can gravitate towards? Like you think of singing competitions and, things like that, like any of them that I've ever watched, which has been a long, long time since I've really watched any of them. But, you think American Idol, think of The Voice, you think of any others that come around. Like one of the things that they always say in your performance is how well can you tell the story? The better you tell the story, the more people are going to gravitate towards you. And that's true. So that's one of the things that you touched on is how well, one of the things that we even put on, with our business and what we're trying to do with Paper Note is like, let's tell your story together. How help us get an idea of how well we can tell your story in a way that others can gravitate towards, because the story matters. That's why we watch movies. That's why we read books, and then the other thing you touched on was communication, email marketing or whatever it may be. Speaking of that conference, I got an email yesterday from one of the guys saying, hey, Patrick, wanted me to reach out to you. I don't know if you got that email too.
Yeah.
Wanted me to reach out to you. Is there a day that you're available? Like, is there a time and day that you're available? And so I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. So because their communications guy reached out and it's to me, it wasn't like, you're not looking at, when you click on the website, you're not looking at like a whole list of, other names on there. It's to you. And so it makes it more personalized in that, so it makes it like, oh, they really kind of want to talk to me. That's kind of cool. And so that draws you in. So communication matters. Email, how you word it. I know phone calls and cold calling isn't the best thing now because everybody can't stand robocallers and all that stuff, but communication matters. And then one of the other things that you touched on is when you started talking about like why we went to that conference was because you start listening to his podcast. And there was a value that you found. One of the things in building community is I've got to add value past what you see. Monster doesn't build a community they have. Zions doesn't build the community they have. Red Bull or Liquid Death doesn't build a community they have without adding some perceived value beyond the product itself. So how well are you adding value? You did that with the Vault. And so because of that, we were both able to go.
Yeah, not only that, but we were able to grow so much. Still growing from it. It's amazing. Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
So one of the other things, so there's a couple things. I actually did a little bit of research and prep.
Way to go.
I prepped. Yay. I know how to do that now.
He's the type of guy that if he was a doctor, he wouldn't do like a pre-op. He would just definitely go into the operation.
It seems that way.
But now
I love doing things off the cuff.
I do too sometimes. So
sometimes those are my best conversations, but because this is a business side and I'm learning. And so for some of you that may be watching this and may come across this podcast, you're like, man, I'm not a good business person. I'm not either. I'm new in this. And so I'm trying to lean in, as best I can and grow in my understanding. So, and kind of leading up to this one thing is like, what's your core purpose? Like you think, gangs. Like, I know it's weird. And you're like, what?
Great
gangs?
example.
Yes, gangs. Well, what's a gang? It's a community of people built around something. I think there was, and I only know this because I used to listen to a lot of music and, obviously grew up around some stuff too. But there was one guy I never understood, like, so Bloods and Crips are like, those are two of the biggest gangs in America.
That was a big
right? And so they've kind of fallen off a little bit in some areas, but in a lot of areas, they're still very, very busy in what they do. One of the things about, community reformation and progress is Crips. And then I can't remember what Blood meant, but they were built around community reform. They were groups that were built around community reform and fighting back against some of the things that they were seeing in their community, and it turned into a gang. But it started because there was a core value. There was a core value, a core purpose. And so what is your purpose? What is a core purpose behind what you're doing? Red Bull will give you wings. Okay, well, what does it mean? Okay, you're going to be able to do some crazy stuff when you drink Red Bull. Yeah. And then they backed it up by building a community around people that do extreme things.
Exactly.
Zions, and whatever they stood for, and you know, hey, you're going to drink this, you're going to get energy, you're going to punch somebody dead in the face. You know, there was a core purpose. So what do one question that came up is, what do we stand for beyond the product or beyond the service? What do we stand for beyond that? And that also feeds into the later question of adding beyond the product. So the other thing is know your people. How well do you know your customer? Are you actually doing research? Are you actually doing follow-ups or reaching out? See,
Well, like customers and clients kind of goes in the same world, but I would say when you have clients versus customers, clients is a little bit more personable than customers. So you're continually across the board because every client's different, every customer's different. You're trying to be, what was it in scripture that Paul said? And it comes to mind. Hold on. I want to make sure I get this right.
is it the all things to all people?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what you're trying to do in a way with your brand. All things to all people. Like, for an example, perfect example of somebody that has no clue what their clientele or customers are. Has anybody ever heard of a little thing called Cracker Barrel recently? Right? Which they went back and inverted it, but they hire some left-wing CEO that knows nothing about that community. Nothing whatsoever. We're going to rip all the wood paneling out. We're going to give it more of a modern look. They kind of made it more, to their age group, which most of the people that go to Cracker Barrel are all ages anyway, but it's mainly families. We're going to take away the logo and put something very bland out there. It just went downhill. What was it? I want to make sure I have the number right before I quote this here.
It was bad, whatever it was.
No, it was really bad, but it was.
They tried to clean it up. One of the things you love about going into Cracker Barrel to eat is all the craziness of the things that's on the wall.
Yeah.
I sat there in one of them in my family. Like we went in one section at the one that's close to us, and it's like, because I'm obviously of darker complexion and my kids are mixed and my wife is of lighter colored complexion. And when we go sit down, it's like we looked around and it's like, oh, they set us in the black section. And we start looking at the pictures on the wall and it's like there's these different people. Like there's stories of college, old colleges and things like that were integrated. And so like looking at stuff like that is actually pretty interesting. And they tried to take that away and people weren't having it.
Yeah, no, they weren't. I'm trying to see here real quick.
And so while he's looking up like this idea of knowing your customer. So a brand that did it right that for a while was Folgers. And if you're my age, one of the things that you'll remember is their commercial. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, And so everybody could sing that jingle growing up as a kid because that was a very huge part. And so many parents had Folgers. They picked Folgers over anything else. And it wasn't because it was the cheapest or even because it was the best tasting coffee. It's just they knew the jingle. It was marketed very well. Starbucks markets very well. And there's a whole community built around Starbucks, but like it's still I'm pretty sure some of these that we're talking about will never be sponsors on the show. Maybe.
Praise God.
But you think about Starbucks, if you actually were to search what are the best tasting coffees, Starbucks is never at the top. Starbucks isn't even in the top 10 of best tasting coffees. But they learned how to build a community around their brand. And so you have people that will flip out if they don't have Starbucks in the morning. Maybe they put drugs in their drinks or something. I don't know. What'd you find?
It's chemical. So the big number, I keep seeing two numbers, 94 million and 100 million. So they lost between 94 to 100 million overnight just because they changed two things. Their logo, which took away the value of who they were. That's like their main thing. And then also they took away by them revamping their store. Yeah. You know what I mean? To make it look nothing like what it was. So with the new building designs that they were going to do, it kind of made it look like just a fancier McDonald's, honestly. And people didn't like that.
It reminded me. So I went to, and this isn't saying it in a negative sense. So Paula Deen's restaurant in Branson. Me and my wife went there a few years ago. Food was amazing, but that's really what it kind of reminded me of when I saw some of the pictures of what it would look like. It's like it's very, in a sense, not as scattered. But that's one of the reasons why you go to Cracker Barrel is
Yeah.
to see what you can find on the wall.
And everything's different, like every one of them. Like there was one we went to. We actually ate there 3 times on the way to Chicago. And one of them we went to had already started making all the changes. And it was horrible. Like it was just like, this is not who you guys were. But thank God the people revolted and got on the internet.
And they lost some stocks.
They lost some stock.
They
and
paid attention. So
decided to revert.
Third thing is shared space, community spaces. We talked about this a little bit last episode too. In when you in the thought of bringing people back to working in the building instead of remote, is creating spaces for people to build community. Like we kind of touched on the beginning of this talk too. And okay, so there's LinkedIn, there's Messengers, there's Google Teams or Microsoft Teams and things like that you can do. So you have access to things to build a community. Now you have these other things in place. Start building the community. Once what's the purpose of this group? On my church has an app through a company, and I can build communities on there. But what's the value of the community? And I've got a couple of them on there and nobody's in them. Yeah. Because we don't really push, hey, there's value in this community. Yeah. So how can we add value through your Facebook or through your Instagram, or through marketing?
What's the content that's coming through?
And so that's the content. Is my content building community? One of the things that in us working on it, not only for our company, but for you as potential clients too, would be answering that question. What can we do? Or how can we put content out that is going to draw people into your brand community, not just buying your product?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is what comes to mind is this. Don't over spam people in those communities. You get a list together and you do that, great. Like, okay, for an example, even though I've praised them very well, there's an app through the vault called Minect. Okay. Minect is a great app. And in that Minect, there are communities and circles where you connect with people. Well, the whole time during the conference, and I know you would witness to this, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. Constantly just a bunch of spamming. So with that, I would say if you're going to start a group, be very precise on what you do. Don't do overkill. Don't do too less. But do a nice sweet spot to where you're giving some tips and pointers, and you're doing it consistently. Like every Tuesday, we're going to send out a text at 11:30. You know what I mean? Yeah. That type of thing. So
I know I got a couple emails in the follow-up. One of them was because I hadn't made a comment on a certain part of the Minette group. I got the email that I was making it sad. That didn't make me do anything different. What did make me do something different is when I got the email and I opened it and there was something of value in there to me.
Yeah.
When I saw that, then I clicked in. And so do something like that. Zach touched on something too that's also stay consistent. Stay consistent, stay authentic. Don't change. Don't pull a Cracker Barrel. It's amazing how taking a guy sitting in a rocking chair next to a barrel, which I don't even know what a Cracker Barrel is. We have jokes in our community around what it is. And some of you have probably seen some of the TikTok videos of this isn't racism, I promise, but it's just a funny video that I remember that has been done over and over and over again over the years is, a white guy's like, hey, I'm taking my friend to Cracker Barrel for the first time. And he's like, is it really? The black guy's walking up. He's like, is it really? And you go in and he like pans the camera around and he sees all these lighter complexion people. And he's like, it's true, So like those kinds of things. Don't stay authentic to who you are in your brand. You're there for a reason. The reason why you created whatever product you created wasn't just about making money. That's always a plus, but it's because there was something that you noticed of value in the world around you that they needed your product. And so you came up with it, or if you are a believer, you prayed and God gave you the idea, he gave you the plan. And so be authentic to what that is.
And with that, two things. God didn't give you the idea or the business for it to fail.
Right.
So get out of that mindset, number one. Number two, the other thing is with the logo thing, what I did notice with a bunch of other companies like Pepsi, they redid their logo, I think 2 years ago. Spent $1 million on the graphic design to redo the
And
logo.
it didn't change much.
No. You want to know what it literally was? If you look really close, they brought the top line down more and they pushed the bottom one down. That was literally it. Boom.
Yeah.
What? Okay, we're rebranding. Just a slight little twist and a change because they didn't remove any value from who they were.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I know that with seasons and times, there are some times where you need to change it, but change it with your group, change it with your community.
One more thing that's on there is actually a very biblical thing too. Is it's something I noticed. My wife bought me a hat for Christmas, and since she brought me that hat, I can't remember if I got on the line online and did something. I can't remember all the ins and outs. Honestly, I've slept twice since then. But I get text messages from this company now, and it's asking for their looking for brand ambassadors and things like that. We did a friend of mine started a ministry in our area, and we were serving food and praying for people. And out of nowhere, I looked up, and there's this company that's bringing, I think C4s. It was C4 that they had sent their brand ambassadors out and around, and so they actually came up and spent some time with us, talked to us, handed out some free samples. No, free samples. I mean, it's a whole can. It's not quite a sample, but they handed these things out. So what are you doing in order to power your followers, your community people? How are you empowering them to extend your brand? And that goes church world and business world. In scripture, we're called ambassadors of Christ. And so do you have ambassadors, and are you empowering them to further your community and to grow it?
Well, and here's a thought too for some of you companies out here that will be listening to this. On the whole brand ambassador and influencer side, you don't always have to have somebody with millions of followers. Like, okay, so we did another case study recently, and the guy was wanting a software to be put out and everything. And they're like, what is your marketing plan? Like, how are you going to blast this out? And one of my points in that case study was use all of the followers, from those with several 100,000 to those with just a few hundred, because why? It broadens your reach. And so guess what? It would help get the word out there. And I'm not saying like pick the guy that only has 20 followers. I'm not saying that either. But if you pick, kind of somebody with a couple thousand followers, or maybe just even 500 or 600 followers, then guess what? There are people that watch them and follow them are actually following them. So what? They're going to be able to get that brand out there maybe a little bit more effectively than somebody with just the millions of followers. And the cool thing about that is you can track your ROI a lot easier with that. So a thought for CEOs and founders and people with decision making on marketing, check out some of these smaller guys, not like too small, but small enough to where they're able to really put more of your brand out there. So I noticed that recently. There's a guy, I mean, he's still a lot of followers, but he has 105,000 followers and a shoe company. Never ever heard of their shoes before. They were like, hey, we want you to make a shoe with us. And so he's, specialized a shoe. And the shoe's not anything crazy. It's like $80 for shoes. And what it is it's like shoes for after ultra marathon runners to kind of help relax their feet, be very comfortable and cushiony, kind of give their feet some rest. Because a lot of those guys are still walking around afterwards. And so you kick off your running shoes and you put these on. But what did they do? Hey, this guy, he doesn't have a lot, like crazy amount of followers, but he has a good little community built up here. Let's build him a shoe and then blast it out to everybody. And so what? He's getting more personalized reach because the people follow him go, oh, that's really cool. They made him a shoe.
Yeah.
And what? They're like, he's not some superstar. You know what I mean? But what is he doing? He's influencing their brand. Anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Great stuff. We don't do good stuff around here. We do great stuff.
I'd say if you're watching the podcast, like if you on YouTube or Instagram or something, like comment like what are some things that you on this idea of building community. Are you a part of a brand's community, and why did you become a part of it?
Yeah.
I think those would be very good things, especially if you're a business owner, and you're a Nike guy or you're a Jordan guy. why are you so much into that community? And, so answer that question for yourself. Like, comment.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Leave comments. Share it. Share it
Oh.
with like 25,000
Yeah.
people that you know.
Make sure you hit that follow button.
Like, subscribe, share, leave
Hit
a rating
the
and
button.
review. No, we're not done yet, I promise. So please don't jump off. Point number 2. Short form content funnel. I've seen this big. Discovery happens on short form platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. But the funnel doesn't stop there. You bring them from 30-second clips to long form content like this, and then from there to products and services. So we see a lot of that lately too. Some people will just find the long form content and go, this is interesting, I'm going to keep watching. I have a few points on that. Perfect example of this, Alex Hormozy. He posts 60-second reels that point viewers to his YouTube channel and his books. So what is that doing? Going to the YouTube, the 60-second reel, pointing to the long form content on YouTube, which eventually points to what? His products, his books. An action place says this is every time you record a podcast, plan at least 5 to 7 short clips that will go across all platforms to start pushing people towards your product. A perfect example of this is a couple examples of this come to mind. We have a client right now. They started in October of last year with us and 0 subscribers on YouTube. They wanted to build a little bit of a community, build some subscribers, and get some things going because they want to start having these Christian events where they talk about things like politics and marriage, but all from a biblical worldview. So guess what? We were able to take 4 shorts a day and blast them out at certain times, and we kept consistency all the times, and we just did YouTube Shorts. We grew that thing from 0 to 6,000 subscribers by March. But why? So what is that, 5 months? But what happened? We used the short form content method to get them to the long form, which eventually got them to subscribe. And some of those people, what we found too in our analytics of that account, is all they would do is just hit subscribe. But guess what it did? It built up a platform of a community to be able to get some things out there going.
Yeah, I think one of the big things too on the short form content is to like how important it is and how powerful it is it switched. It made Facebook change up their plans.
Yeah.
They went away from, earlier this year, is they started digging in and leaning in more on the Reels side of things and start putting more money and things towards that because they saw the value of short form content. So if it could do that for a major company like Facebook or Meta, then imagine what they can do for the brand that you're building, the stories you're telling.
Something I learned that give you a pro tip. Okay. I learned this recently. YouTube does something. You ready for this? So we blasted on our channel like 30 different shorts recently. And you know what I noticed? They all got 0. 0, 0. What the heck? These shouldn't be getting 0. Because our first handful of them were getting like between 70 and 150, which is not bad. You know what I mean? But then after that, 0, 0, 0, 0. Did we get blocked? Did we get spammed? What the heck? So I'm looking into it. YouTube does a thing when you're first getting started called sandboxing, where what they do is they literally are just taking your reel that you're posting and they're funneling it through their AI stuff. And all it's doing, it's not blasting it out. It's just seeing if you're real. I was like, that's crazy. So for those of you getting started, keep plugging at the reels and the shorts, even if it gets 0, because right after we did about 30 of them, guess what? Our views started popping back up again all of a sudden. Because why? It's just learning your content. So it's like a sandbox practically. You know how you throw something in the sandbox and it kind of like sinks down in? It's kind of the same way with the shorts. It's like literally went nowhere. So that's a tip for you guys.
I think people, after building the community, hit your people up. Hey, I need y'all to like our videos, like our content if you're watching it.
That's what I was going to say too. Thank you. Okay, so
you're welcome.
A lot of our clients and people, when they get started, this is what we recommend, okay? You're just getting started. It takes a long time to build a community. I mean, a long time. And I'm not just trying to BS you. It's just the truth. Like, takes a long time. So what I recommend is as you're getting started, go through all your contacts and put a list together and blast out, hey, here's my new podcast. Please subscribe, please like, and if you see any value in this, share it with 2 or 3 others. That instantly, gains your reach. If you're doing a podcast inside a company and you have 30 employees, blast it to all of them and say, hey, if you enjoy working here as an employee, not threatening their job or anything, but if you enjoy here working as an employee and you really believe in our vision and what we do, do us a huge favor and blast this out to your friends and family. And guess what? They will do it. Yeah. And so what does that immediately do? It starts building your reach right off the bat. So not going to give away all my secrets, but there you go.
I give you a quarter for each person that you get to like this video.
Yeah, literally.
That'll be your raise, or that'll be your bonus at the end of the year. Hey, incentive program. There you go. You heard it here first.
Send a coupon code for like your shop.
I don't know if I can trademark that or not. But
point number 3, AI enhanced personalizations. AI lets small businesses run personalized campaigns like Fortune 500 companies. Example, an AI email tool can analyze open rates and automatically shift your message to match that works. That's true. And an action play here is try AI-driven tools like Jasper, Write Sonic, or HubSpot AI to test subject lines, segments, audiences, and improve open rates. I mean, yeah, that's an action play for you. But I'm going to say caveat to this. If it's taken 6 employees to figure all this stuff out, you're spending too much time on it. So if it's a real simple, easy program, easy to use thing, then that one person can jump on, that's perfect. Any thoughts on that, sir?
A few things, just characteristics of short form content funnel: brevity in communication, content. They're concise and to the point.
Yeah.
In your short form content, on your reels, your shorts, make sure it's something that will grab their attention. Action plan, or get them to a call to action. Getting them to sign up for the service, getting them to like your stuff, getting them to share, immediate action, and then high conversation potential.
Follow us for more. That's a big deal. It's kind of dumb because in my mind, if I like you, I'm just going to follow you anyway. But like with other people, you got to tell them what to do practically, kind of like a toddler. Go pick up your toy. Well, hey, this reel is 5 marketing tips that we want to give to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, if you liked our content, follow us for more.
Yeah. And you see that a lot now. I just got on my Facebook. I get stuck in what I call scrollville. Like a lot of people, some people call it death scrolling, where you just kind of scroll and different things come across. And because more marketing and business things now are in my algorithm, then you're going to come across some of those things. And so there is a guy that's known, he has a 10X thing.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to name drop, but okay. But no, I was doing it on purpose. Okay. But he just recently had a deal on Facebook of just short content. Hey, this is what I did. If you want to do the same thing, sign up for my, and then at the bottom is a sign up thing. And so, and that's, a short reel. I know I've gone on things where, in making it concise and to the point, do that not only in your short, but also in the process of what you're trying to get them to do. If you want them to become a brand follower or an ambassador or something like that, make it an easier process. Oh. Don't take them through 5 different pages or 5 different clicks to go to do this. You got to do this. Get them on 1.
Yeah.
Or 2. Make it really easy, for Grant Cardone stuff. If you hit the sign up button, it's going to take you to a page. You type in your number, email address, or your name, email address, and you hit sign up, and then it sends you a link. So, you make it as clear and concise as possible on that stuff. So,
well, like I took a marketing course, and when I did take that marketing course, they practically, just to pivot off his point, is they practically were saying the same thing. It's just, you have your top layer, another layer, another layer, another layer, and then at the bottom's where they're going to make their decision. So you better make those layers quick but you also better make those layers very full of not too much information, but just enough to get them to the next section.
Yeah.
To move on.
I got to give you enough to get your attention, but then this is where I want to get you to.
That's why you see landing pages sometimes 8 feet long and 12 feet long. There's a difference between both. For those of you that know what I'm talking about, like I've seen so many landing pages that are like to the point, and I love those. And then there's some where it's just like you got to just keep scrolling. It's like all this point video, all this point video, all this point video. You don't have to have all of that all the time.
Yeah.
No, you just give it just enough information, not too overboard, not too less, but there's just a perfect amount. Like I like our page, our landing page right now, papernote.com.
You're welcome.
Got to give the shout out. Yes, thank you, sir. He did most of it. But it's perfect. It doesn't have too much, doesn't have too little. You know, and always what you can do with your landing pages too is you can always switch things up and switch things out if you want to add different or change things. So anyway,
last part on this that I'll touch on is, according to one of the articles that I come across, it's what metrics to track. So if you're using short form content to grow your community, to grow your brand and your reach, what are some things that you can track for that? So one of them is conversion rate. Percentage of users who complete a purchase or submit their information. So if you're using it, hey, I want you to submit your information. What percentage of people is actually doing it? Is it 10%? Is it 5%? Is it 2%? Get an idea. Cost per conversion. How much are you spending to acquire each customer? So engagement metrics, including click-through rates and video view times. I know I posted a first-time podcast episode, and it did really well. I'd used some of the things that he talked about earlier, so I reached out to people on Facebook. It's like, hey, guys, I'm starting this podcast. I'd love it if you go, follow it. Help me get over 100 subscribers so I can try to go live faster. And I ended up with 110, but on that one, geez, I can't remember. It was over 600 views, I think.
747 last night.
Was it last night? I didn't even look yesterday.
I looked.
But on that, with Facebook, it's not always clear because the way they do their views, it isn't necessarily people that viewed over the whole thing. It's people that viewed past like a few seconds, and then it will count that as a view. So get really, really good at looking at video view times. What's the average view time of the video? Is it 10 minutes? Is it 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Did they watch the beginning and was like, oh, I didn't really like this, it's not worth it? Or did they watch it all the way through? Those are good metrics to follow. And then the last one is return on ad spend, or ROAS. Are your ad dollars generating positive returns?
So what a lot of people do too to build their community at first, like with podcasts, is after they built I'd say 10 or 15 episodes, take your best one, put some ad money behind it, really have a hook and everything, and they'll grow in, and then you'll be able to see, is my money that I'm pouring into this worth it, or do I need to pour some more time and effort into my community? And that'll be able to tell everything. And don't just necessarily go on the very first one. Do 2 or 3 ad things, and then you'll be able to see it as well.
Yeah.
Which we need to do a whole episode on ads, because I learned some stuff lately, and that was interesting.
Yeah. So that's short form content. That's why I didn't want to get off of it yet, because it's like, so in adding value, we want you to follow our channel. We want you to follow our podcast, listen to it. And so in order to do so, we've got to add some value in there, not just, and so I wanted to add some value in there for those of you that are listening, not only to get you to listen, but hey, maybe we'll get you as a client too, and we can help you kind of navigate some of this stuff as well.
If you want us to help you with your podcast, go to www.papernote.com. I was listening to a podcast. Yeah, 2 P's. PAPPERNOTE.com.
Yeah. You can email. So I'm going to throw this out there. You can email me at Lamar at papernote.com, and he's Zachary at papernote.com. He doesn't do Zach. He does a whole thing.
Well, no, I do Zach. It just really depends on the person. I just put Zachary because
Zachary.
That's what I was going to say. Listen, for those of you out there that are watching us, all our plans are customizable. So whether you're a big fish or a little fish, we can meet your needs in podcasting.
Yeah.
So don't be scared of price point. Just shout out to us and we'll be able to work with you.
One thing that I kind of put out there too, I'm not sure if I should say this or not, but we'll consult and help you get the right things you need to get for your cameras, microphone, things like that.
Yes.
We'll help you get, and it depends on how much you pay. So I look at a lot of different things on budget things. So there's a few different companies and things like that I look at. And then I'm always looking at sales and things like that. Yeah. So we could try to help.
And for those of you starting, don't think you have to start with the biggest, baddest equipment. I mean, I think this is the 4th set of equipment that I've upgraded with since I started in 2021, not the company, but started doing podcast stuff in 2021. So, and we upgraded our equipment like at least 4 times since then, but it was a slow process. We started out with a laptop and a webcam, actually. We just angled it really, really good. Put it on a little tripod because apparently webcams have tripods. So we put it on one of those and then angled it really good. Made it look good. So, like I said, you don't have to start off fancy. You can, but you don't have to start off there.
Just you start.
Yeah.
So this thing is going to be one of your best advocates. So there's some stuff. Anyways, what's the next thing? What was the AI thing that you brought up again?
Point number 3 was this AI enhanced personalizations. AI let small businesses run personalized campaigns like Fortune 500 companies, which I went through all this. I'm going to just go through it real quick. An AI email tool can help analyze open rates and automatically shift your messaging to match what works. Also, just regular texting, blasting it out that way. And then in action places, try AI-driven tools. And then it's got a list of Jasper, Write Sonic, HubSpot AI to test subject lines, segment audiences, and improve open rates. So,
yeah, use it. It's there. I went to a pastor's conference this past week, and that was one of the conversations that they had. They had a roundtable, and it was, how are you using AI? Are you using AI? And I know we talked some about AI last week, so go back and listen to that episode. You'll hear a little bit more about it. But yeah, definitely lean in. Yes, it's going to be a learning curve for a lot of people. I know there's one business luncheon that I've attended a few times, run by a church actually. Their pastor is also a small businessman. There is an 80-plus-year-old lady there that uses AI. So you can learn it. Just use it.
Yeah, and 2 things. If you're using way too much manpower for it, you need to find a different tool to use. It shouldn't take that hard, or be that hard, I should say. The other thing is what are your prompts? Are your prompts shallow or are they very deep? That's going to make a huge difference. Like, you want a deep prompt of something that's kind of a little more of an analytical thinker for it to really understand what you're doing. Because if I just give it one short surface, I'm going to get a generic answer. You don't want generic answers with these things. You want action. So, like, this is what I want done. Be very specific. So that's what I would say. And very short with that. So,
okay, there you go.
Anyway, well, folks.
See, AI was a little bit quicker.
Yeah, which because I kind of mentioned it earlier. But that's the Paper Note Playbook for you.
Yeah,
for this episode.
Yes, that's this episode, folks.
Yeah. So, do us a favor: subscribe, like, share. If you're listening to this on podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating review.
Oh, we got to do the thing.
That way we can get it out there. And also, make sure you got to
hit the button. There we go.
There we go. Wasn't on point that time. Anyway,
it was close.
We're getting there.
You're tired.
Yeah, well, hey, it is what it is. Anyway, we thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I kept getting like dry.